Hello everybody, Siraz here, and today I'm going to be bringing you another cast. Today we have LeenockfOu versus a random Protoss player. Don't know anything about, this guy since I can't even read his name, but I do know a little bit about Leenock. Leenock actually did really well in the GSL 3. I think he took out Clyde in one of the early rounds in a convincing best of 3. Just played really solid. And I think Leenock is one of those players that has a lot of potential to really grow. I think he's relatively young. I think he's like 17 or 18 or something like that. And he has a lot of potential to really become one of the best StarCraft II Zergs out there. So I'm expecting to see great things from Leenock. And somebody who's kind of on my radar. And that's the reason I got this replay. I was like, hey, Leenock replay. Let's go check it out. See what it's about and watch some Leenock play. So it is going to be a PvZ, and this matchup is pretty, well, it's been pretty set for a while, but with the recent patch change to Phoenix, making it so Phoenix can be built faster, I think we might start to see a little bit of a shift relatively soon. Phoenix can be really devastating in Zerg, and with that change, you can just get so many Phoenix so quickly, and you can really do like do like a gate, build like a gateway, build like a Stargate, and then transition to Robo just a lot quicker and a lot quicker than you used to be able to, in my opinion. Well, not exactly quicker, but what I mean is you can get out more Phoenix for less of like that early investment into the Stargate. So as always, you get the Protoss Manor piloning, and don't want to allow the Zerg to get an expansion up. And I think this blocks the hatch. It must. It looks like it might be a little far this way, but I think it just still catch the corner of it. That's always annoying to deal with it. A lot of Zergs just have started opening pool of gas because of it. There's nothing you can do about it. And if you do an opening that its entire goal is to get out that early expansion, just having that pylon can really kind of throw a wrench in your plans. So you see, like I said, you see a lot more of these Zerg players opening gas first, and that's what Leenock did do here. So we're probably going to get speed relatively soon. He's not quite at 100 gas yet, so once he gets that, he'll get speed. Sometimes you see Zergs pull these guys off of gas, and looks like Leenock is going to do that. And getting speed, then that's going to allow him to save some money to get an expansion out relatively quickly. Very nice by Leenock, even pulling the Hurt Worker here to get this expansion, as the health doesn't matter once you turn him into a building. And he has about 6 lings out, going to get that expansion, and probably just going to poke into the Protoss player's base to see what's up. He does have a worker in there, just kind of sitting there. Not really doing too much, but it's kind of funny. Oh, this Stalker is finally out, and this will take care of that worker relatively soon. And Leenock's going to move down here. He's not going to be able to get in, though. 6 lings actually can beat a Zealot like this, in this position. But with that Stalker, I mean, there's no way. So we got another gateway going down. Might see, not really sure, 2 gate still leaves a lot of openings. Looks like he might just go 3. I mean, still hasn't. I mean, he can still throw out another gate, or he could just 3-gate expand. Still not really sure. He is getting that Cyber Core, though, and chrono boosting warp gate, so that kind of leads me to believe he's going to do something with some sort of gateway push. A lot of times players, if they're not going to do some sort of timing attack, there's really no point to chrono boosting out that warp gate. Speed is done, and that'll help Leenock fend off anything that comes his way. Also doing a great job of checking around the map. Oh, and he misses the probe. That would have been huge. That probe's probably going to be used to put up a proxy pylon to reinforce any army. Did he catch it this time? Will he catch it this time? There we go, finally catching the probe. Going to take that out. It's a very nice play by Leenock there with his lings. Protoss player getting hallucination in the meantime, so we'll have to see what he's going to do with that. Sometimes, I mean, you can use it for a number of different things. The most common is just scouting. You get out an early Phoenix, and you just scout with it. It works really well. Works really well with this 3-gate expand build that we do see our Protoss player going, due to the fact that you get a lot of sentries So the idea is you get a lot of sentries because they're really gas heavy, right? And that allows you to have minerals for your expansion. So in this case, hallucination is just kind of like a little added perk of having so many sentries, and you can do some cool stuff with it. You can make an attack look a lot larger than it actually is. You can, like I said, it makes for easy scouting. That's pretty much about it. One time, well, there's this very famous game in the beta between two players named Tank and Star, or Tanks and Stars, or Tank and Star, or something like that, where Protoss player used hallucination to hallucinate a bunch of probes and made the Terran player think that he killed all of the probes of the Protoss player, and then just rolled. The Protoss player just ended up rolling them. It was actually quite an amusing game. And he's like, "I killed all your probes. You know, how do you still have an army?" And yeah. So the scout does go down. Leenock gonna go roaches, looks like. Roach speed and +1 attack on the way. Still only on a handful of langs. That's a good choice, especially on these. When you see a Protoss player go one base expand, always good to get out roaches because they could do that 6 or 5 gate +1 timing attack, which is so deadly and really hard to hold off without roaches. But looks like we actually see a Robobay. So Protoss player playing a little safer. We'll have to see. I mean, yeah, he's getting the observer out, and then we'll have to see where he goes from here. Interesting though, Leenock going for a really fast infestation pit. I wonder what he wants to do with that. If he's actually going to go infestors or is just hoping to tech. And this spore crawler kind of surprises me. Leenock has put one in each base, and that leads me to believe that he's been running into a lot more Phoenix play when he's been playing on the ladder or playing games. Doesn't have anybody in this gas. Kind of interesting. But yeah, that makes sense. Like I said, with the Phoenix build time buff, you can get out a ton of Phoenix very quickly and can really take players by surprise. But looks like Leenock is actually going to go for infestors here. And another hatch. Interesting, another in-base hatch. This is kind of good, kind of great position, blocking the ramp a little bit, forcing units to come in this way so they can't really just run past here. And it really will allow Leenock to defend against any sort of ground push a little bit easier. Looks like he's getting ready to take a third base as well very soon. And we do have Colossus coming out from our Protoss player here. Pretty standard game so far between these two players. You know, nothing too crazy has gone on yet. 3-gate Robo. Pretty standard. Probably going to see a few more gates being added on relatively soon. Looks like Protoss player getting up to take another base as well. Leenock's rocks are down. There we go. Drone is on the way. Another base is there. Kind of wondering what's with these infestors. We'll have to see how they work out. Could be maybe to try and help counteract force fields a little bit. Not really sure. Seems kind of like an odd choice here. He doesn't even have like neural parasite or anything. I think he just wants to fungal the units and take them out with a nice surround. It probably is what he's going for. It also could be, I guess, if you could get a fungal on a Colossus, you might be able to snipe it a lot easier, and that might be what Leenock is going for. Not really sure. I haven't seen this sort of play all that often. Oh, there we go. We do have a neural parasite on the way. So Leenock hoping to neural parasite probably these Colossus in a upcoming battle we do have. Continue to get upgrades. +2 on the way. Or Protoss player at +1. Also, Leenock, great job putting some links down here to stop any third expansion of the Protoss player, at least for now. Protoss player waiting for range on his Colossus still. Probably going to push out once that is finished. In the meantime, our Zerg player getting a Spire needs Corruptors to really effectively deal with these Colossus later on in the game, especially when the numbers start to get a little bit higher. And just kind of looking around, this game has been pretty slow so far, not gonna lie. I'm just kind of waiting to see what happens. A push finally coming out. We'll have to see if Leenock is able to defend against this. He does have pretty sizable force of roaches, and it looks like this push is actually just gonna go back to base, but I'd be very impressed if Leenock can defend with just roaches and infestors. Especially, I guess Neural Parasite is finally finished, so this could work out really well. You haven't seen Zerg players trying this sort of build all that often, because infestor play is kind of risky at times. You have to have like perfect positioning with your units to really to get the most out of infestors. So we'll have to see if this works out for Leenock. Leenock continuing, he sees his army coming up, so I think he's just trying to buffer his force with as many units as possible. A bunch of lings, a bunch of roaches, he has his infestors, and we'll have to see if this will work out well for Leenock. Looks like he actually might try and take out this third base. Infestors, though, has to be careful. Like I said, it's kind of hard to, you have to have great positioning to make infestors work in this situation. We'll have to see if it does work out for Leenock. He's a great player, so if anyone can make it happen, definitely Leenock is somebody who can do it. You can do it. This is terrible. But just kind of a little back and forth between these two players here. And yeah, neither player really wants to engage. I mean, Leenock wants to get in a good position where he can get in his, he can basically Neural Parasite these Colossus with his infestors where they're pretty where they're pretty safe, and the Protoss player, just doesn't want that to happen. Leenock probably gonna take this gold relatively soon, or take another base. Oh, looks like get a little caught out of position there. Ling's getting ready to run by. Might actually see some Lings going into the main of our Protoss player here. That could work out really well. He doesn't have any forces in his base. He does have a couple cannons. There we go. Lings are going. Roach is moving up in the meantime too, so I think what he's going to do is try and pull these forces back and then attack this base with his roaches possibly. Not really sure. Nice warping though, stopping the Lings in time at that choke, and this attack's going to do almost nothing, not even killing that Zealot. But Leenock going to try and come in here and snipe some stuff, but the forces of our Protoss player are back in time, and Protoss player looking really good in this position. Both players relatively equal in the worker count. Leenock a little bit ahead. I mean, this game has gone on long enough that it's not going to make a big difference. Upgrades 2-1 for our Protoss player. We do almost have +3 for our Zerg players on the way. +3 for our Protoss player as well, though. So relatively equal in the upgrades here. And this is kind of interesting. Leenock probably hoping that our Protoss player will kind of walk over here. Does he have an observer here? I think that's an observer right there. No, maybe not. But yeah, he's hoping our Protoss player will kind of walk over here when he's burrowed, would be my guess, and then he can get a good attack. But looks like Leenock just gonna go for it here, jockeying for position still. A good fungal growth could probably force an engagement here if Leenock wants to fight. Not really sure if he wants to though. But Leenock continuing to just advance into the Protoss player's base. Oh, and he does take that out before +3 is done. Very nice job by Leenock there. I mean, that will definitely well, I mean, obviously it slows down the upgrade, but stopping him before +3 will really help Leenock in this case. Bunch of Corruptors on his way, so Leenock probably just trying to buy time there with that attack. All these Overlords need to run right now, or Leenock's going to find himself very supply blocked. Looks like, oh, and all the Infestors go down. That's what I was talking about. Positioning, you need to be very careful with how you use Infestors, and this is not looking too good for Leenock. He lost a lot of stuff right there. Oh, and I think he's supply blocked, yeah. Leenock in a lot of trouble here. Luckily, he's at 196, so not the worst place to be supply blocked, I guess. And he does have those Corruptors out around here. Here we go. The Corruptors are out. And those will definitely help against any sort of Colossus force. Roach Corruptor is probably the best way to deal with this sort of force that Leenock is fighting. Thing is, getting a couple more Infestors. They didn't really work out too well for him last time, but if he has a little bit better control, he can definitely, that'll help. Getting +2 range or air attack as well. What do Corruptors do? 24 damage to Massive. That's pretty good. Corruptor is getting a little out of position, losing about 3 right there. Protoss player quite a bit ahead in units lost. I mean, just managing to get some free kills left and right. Leenock trying to stop that pylon. No dice though. Protoss player going to take this expansion very soon. Leenock taking 2 more at the same time. Trying to do a little bit of flank attack. Does not want the Protoss player to kill this base. Leenock, interesting. Splitting his forces. Just going to come in here. Is he going to snipe that again? Oh, man. Leenock. Excellent, excellent. Just, I mean, delaying this +3 as much as possible. But he needs to stop losing forces. He needs to get a good battle under his belt, or he's going to find himself overwhelmed here. Trying to get away with these roaches. I mean, he does not have really that large of an economic advantage. There's only a couple workers there. I think he's maybe just trying to get the right number of corruptors out to effectively deal with this force. Almost at +3 as well. Leenock just buying time. I mean, that's what I feel he's doing here, just buying time. But I think his time might have been, or he might have bought all the time he can. He is currently out of credits or cash or whatever certain players use, minerals. And his third base does go down. Doing a great counterattack though. This Protoss army is going to have to run all the way back. Leenock probably going to be able to do a bit of damage. In the meantime, kind of surprised he's not going for workers. I think that would work out really well for him. Maybe he's just going to snipe the base. But the forces of our Protoss player are there. Leenock does take out the base, is going to run without taking too many losses, and I guess that is pretty equal for these 2 players. Kind of just a base trade there, you know, not a big deal. Even supply blocking our Protoss player a little bit, but it's like he's at 199, so who cares? Both players really close to 200 here. Leenock needs to get some I mean, it's really weird here. Leenock just not fighting straight up at all, and I don't know. He needs to just this Protoss death ball is just so large here that I don't know if it's going to be possible for Leenock to fight straight up. And even if he does, I mean, he can just basically kill these Colossus with his Corruptors here, right? But look at all these Corruptors. Leenock overproduced Corruptors, I think. I mean, there's only 4 Colossus. That is tons of Corruptors, probably way more than he needs. I don't know. We'll see if this works out. I'm kind of surprised. Do we have Hive Tech yet? We do have Hive. Do we have a Greater Spire? No Greater Spire yet. Greater Spire, I think, would be probably pretty good in this situation. And that Infestor doing absolutely nothing again. Leenock possibly just going to fight this here. Taking out 1 Colossus, 2 Colossus, 3rd Colossus about to go down. These Storms, though, just wrecking these Corruptors, and all of them go down. Protoss player just doing a great job. With his micro, really. I mean, he's just been everywhere on the map at once, getting some great storms off, fighting exactly when he has the advantage. And if we look at the unit loss tab, it just tells it all. Our Protoss player has just been controlling his army that much better. And, you know, in the meantime, he definitely is in the lead. I mean, that is really what's gotten him the lead. Gonna take out this gold base of Leenock. Leenock, just scrambling, not really mining from anywhere at the moment. That this base is almost up again, which will help him a little bit, but Leenock just getting picked apart by our Protoss player here. Even Corruptors, almost seems like Leenock's falling apart a little bit here. Bad rally point there, needs to get more units. Leenock finally going to get some free units of his own. If he gets this Colossus, that'd be pretty big here. Looks like he is going to actually get it, so very nice job by Leenock. In the meantime, doing a little counterattack down here, takes out some workers here, and tries to do a little bit of damage here, but then is forced to run away. So Leenock just continuing with his counterattacks all over the map. More roaches coming down. In this position, you know, he might have been able to actually pick off some units there. This is going to be really good for him. Couple High Templar, they are not cheap. Then just going to retreat. I mean, he would have lost those roaches if he continued to attack. And Leenock just having great roach play here. I mean, I really like it. Just using the fact that roaches are so incredibly fast to try and get himself back in the game. The biggest problem, however, is that he keeps losing his expansions and just cannot keep up a lot of mining, consistent mining time here. Though it doesn't really matter, he has tons of resources. Going to come in here and attack these cannons. Storms going off, doing a lot of damage. This is a lot of cannons and a lot of storms. Can't really burrow because they will be seen. Protoss player just going to attack the main of Leenock, splitting his forces, have him coming back, have him attacking the main. Leenock really needs to heal up here. And this could be very bad. I think he's going to get in a position where he is trapped. I don't know. He needs to run away really soon. There's a lot of units here. He's losing a lot of roaches. There we go. Finally getting out of there. And he is going to make it out. I mean, he did lose a lot there, but he's going to make it out. He did fend off his main. Looking at the income tab. Protoss player starting to hurt on the economy, but it doesn't matter at this point, as he does have 6K in the bank. Leenock, in the meantime, let's see here. Leenock really catching up, has made these roaches a lot more cost-effective than they have been all game. I'm going to lose a few more here, but going to get out. Same time, doing a counterattack at the gold expansion. Going to take this out. It is already mined out, though, so not a big deal. Kind of forcing the Protoss player to respawn. Going to have to run away once again. And this is kind of crazy. I've never seen roaches really used in this manner. A lot of times players use speedlings in this manner, but roaches really just going to town here, sending them back down here to do even more damage to this base. Look at all those cannons. Protoss player said, I am so tired of your roaches. I'm just going to build cannons everywhere. Well, Leenock just continuing the pressure, though these roaches are going to go down. Leenock not close to 200, though. And he just hasn't been able to really get a sizable army to effectively deal with this Protoss ball. No more Colossus, though. More roaches coming in from this direction. So now he has to maybe consider switching out of roaches to something else. All he is fighting now is Immortals and Stalkers. And once again, for the third time, delaying the +3. Oh man, this Protoss player must be like, oh my god, why can't I get +3? So this is great. Leenock, nice transition here, getting tons of Hydra. Hydra going to be very effective against this sort of army. One thing he has to worry about is there are a few High Templar in here. Oh, and these roaches of Leenock getting caught a little bit out of position. Leenock pulling his workers, but going to lose this base. But yeah, Hydra's going to be very strong here. Like I said, he just has to worry about these High Templar. Very good against Hydras. So as long as he fights on creep, once again going to take out this gold. It is mined out though, so not too big of a deal. Probably just going to continue walking on. Or maybe we'll just take it out and run away. A couple of roaches getting sacrificed there to allow the rest to live. And look at these cannons, holy cannons. That is so many cannons. It's like, I don't know. Protoss player is like, go gadget cannons or something. Just cannons flipping came out of his hands and just spewed at this expansion. Tons of Hydras here though, and going to fight on creep, so he should be able to micro against Storm. Hydra's doing really well, really strong against this sort of army. Though he can't lose these overlords, need to run them away. Going to lose all of his workers here as well. But look at this Hydra count. Probably going to try and sandwich this forest, take it all out. That's going to work out really well for Leenock. Yep, sandwich attack from both sides, and this army is going to get taken out. Needs to move his Hydras forward a little bit, or they're going to get cut in half. Oh wow, surprisingly, this Protoss force working out pretty well. A lot of Hydras not being able to attack here, a little bit of a miscontrol by Leenock. Needed to just move them off that ramp, and he would have been in such a better position. And our Protoss player, wow, so our Protoss player actually looking very solid in this at the moment. Leenock going to scramble to try and defend here. He does have the upgrade advantage, but I still do not think this force is going to be enough. A storm going off, Storm's decimating Hydras. And Leenock desperately trying to defend. You know, I'm kind of surprised Leenock's macro has slipped a little bit. There we go, there's the GG. But Leenock has a lot in the bank. I'm kind of surprised he could not macro out a little bit better, larger of a force. He would have been able to deal with that. But nonetheless, that was a great game by both these players. Leenock showed some really creative use of roaches in this game. And our Protoss player just had great game sense, great map presence with his force, was always in the right position. I mean, looking at the unit lost tab, he made his forces count. You know, well, he made his forces kill more than they're worth, obviously, and just great control. Also, really good macro. I mean, he stayed at almost 200 for most of the game. At this point, he's starting to slip a little bit, but most of the game, our Protoss player was at 200. Even after losing stuff, you know, he just immediately go right back and stayed up in macro with Leenock. So, you know, I think this is just a great game between these two players. I think it could have gone either way. Leenock made a little bit of a mistake at the end here. I mean, those Hydras. It's just, I don't know. He made the right units for most of the game, I think. Maybe a little overproduced Corruptors, but and he got Hydras at the right time. He just did not move his Hydras forward. And if you guys didn't notice, they're just sitting there trying to shoot and being blocked. So, but yeah, a really cool game between these two players. I hope you guys did enjoy. And with that, Siraz saying, see y'all later.